Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And today we're speaking with Mary and Gary O'Brien, and we're going to be talking about source light therapy. And I love what they wrote into this, and of course, we're going to expand into the topic. But Mary and Gary wrote that if you feel a sense of urgency and anticipation that a significant shift is coming, which on so many calls, so many questions come in the chat box with people raising their hands. Something's coming. I don't know when it is. When's it going to get here? I don't know how to prepare for it. I don't, but I feel it. And it's a cause of sometimes stress of the anticipation and so many other things. But anyway, but it means that you're feeling the call of your light shaman lineage. And Mary and Gary are going to speak about how all light shamans share a common purpose to help people. Why you came to Earth. And then Mary and Gary are light shamans and channels for Dzar, which is a playful energy of light and transformation who you will most likely get to meet this evening. And we're going to open up to Q&A, y'all, and to asking your personal questions as it relates to what's that sense of urgency within you? What do you know? And you're going to experience a method that combines light frequencies, sacred symbols, and ancient wisdom, which is part of the call today as well. So it's going to be an amazing conversation. It always is with these two, well, these three, I'll call it. Part but I hope that you all have the opportunity to relax, be present, receive, and play with us in today's conversation. And with that, Mary, Gary, welcome, and Dzar, welcome to the call.
Oh, g'day everybody. Great to have you here.
Yeah, it's great to be here, John. Always so lovely to connect. And it is that feeling of the bubbling up of an energy and that something is coming and we know it's coming and it's also already here. It doesn't just stop and start, but there's this newer, even more expanded light we have access to, which, when we were chatting a little bit before we came on, as you were saying, when you were on your trip, you could feel it. We took a group to Europe back in October?
September.
September. I've lost track of the year already.
Yeah.
And again, it was this really powerful light and earth connection that the group experienced. So it is a very exciting time with, a lot of tumultuous stuff going on and also an awful lot of light available to us and growing.
Well, tell us more about source light therapy. Is it something to heal? Is it something to help to assimilate? Is it something to help to expand as far as my interpretation of what source light would be? But I really would like to receive it for you instead of assuming.
Sounds like you've summed it up pretty well.
Yeah, all of the above. All of the above. And so the approach that we've always taken, as anyone who's listened to us before, and for new people, the key to all of our work, and Dzar is lurking, so they're going to be coming in, is that we work in what we call the center of the bridge. And the center of the bridge is that full embrace and acknowledgement and embodiment of our physical self, and an equal embrace, acknowledgement, and embodiment of our spirit self, or our source light, or our true essence, whatever language we might put around it. And we expand, and the compassion and light on the planet expands when we don't deny either, but we find the way to bring them into a joyful dance. And so source light therapy is a little bit of a different approach to what we've been doing previously, where now we're focusing even more on the physical as part of that collaboration. Because what we've realized over the, I don't know how long we've been doing this now, 12 years or so with people, is that if we're in physical constriction and struggle and pain and illness, whatever it might be, it makes it that much harder for us to really feel and connect to our light. The physical in those instances does become an impediment and a distraction. So the source light therapy approach we've started using with our group over the last, well, just in this year actually, has been to say, okay, let's clear the blockages out of the physical so that you can more clearly and simply connect and live as your light.
It's
So
beautiful.
it embraces all of it.
That makes sense. And for me, there's really an alignment again, this the assimilation that has been building up this year, for my awareness was also because we have many of us have been in our practices, we've been refining, if you will, our light vehicle. And it's wonderful, and we can access in different ways and have an emotional and energetic intelligence that we can discern and navigate with. And I found that in particular this year, that the body was ready to assimilate the energies that we've been, not that it hasn't been assimilating, but it has a capacity to hold that light quotient like it didn't before. Something has shifted in our physical structure that it's ready to, and because of the astrology, the solar flares, all these different things that have been happening, that it's attuned enough now to receive the potency of what we've been activating and assimilating from the etheric and astral and energetic bodies.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's that key, that embodiment of all of that, us being able to hold our light so that it's not just when we're meditating or doing a practice that we feel and live and know that is who we are, but we literally walk around as these bright and shiny beacons of light, or what Dzar's language around this is as light shamans. As light shamans, we're here to be the light that shows others who they are so that they can step into that knowing as well. And it's not a separate practice, it's a lived practice in the day-to-day of life. So yeah, it's very exciting with the physical coming in.
I want to get into a little bit more of the light shaman aspect in just a second. I do not want to just skip over that because I think it's so important. And I think a lot of y'all will be able to relate if you don't already, or maybe even more deeply. I certainly do. But I wanted to go back into the source light as it pertains to the physical body. What are sure sign ways to tell when our body is when something is preventing the physical body to assimilate?
Great question. And Czar's with us, so welcome, Dzar. I'll kick off the answer and then I'm sure Dzar will join in. My experience for that answer, John, is that when if I'm feeling off, if I'm feeling restriction in my body, if I'm not feeling well, if I'm feeling, even it's not just the physical, it's the emotional, because of course the physical and the emotional are so connected. I know if my emotions are off and I'm feeling heavy or upset or angry or whatever it might be, that's me blocking source coming in. Because the source is always there waiting to pour into us. And the only thing that stops us completely filling up and then overflowing is our thinking and our restrictions in the physical. So the clue that we're unintentionally limiting that is by noticing, where are my aches and pains? Where do I get triggered by people? Where are my upsets in life? Where's the physical constriction? Because all of those things are, they constrict our sense of self, but they also constrict our energetic field. And to me, it feels like our field becomes less permeable. The membrane becomes more solid. And so we can't actually draw in, but also share out. Yeah.
I think this is an important conversation. And I'd so appreciate if you give us the distinction of where it is that we're perceiving that we're doing something wrong, or that we're just learning a different way to assimilate with what's coming in. Because they're similar, but they're not in very important ways.
So, welcome.
So welcome, yeah.
Hello.
Yes, welcome. So, what a fascinating time for beings to be. What a fascinating time of, well, decision making to occur. So there's quite a bit of history here and quite a bit of awareness, shall we say, to explain the question you have asked. And as normal, all the questions that you have all lead into one place. So it's quite perfect, very clever of you to ask in such a way. And so, as you have shared, many humans, well, bits. There's bits of you that are human.
We think we're human.
Yes, okay, yes. You've got a shape like that, haven't you? Yes, you look like a human from the outside, but then the animating part, well, that's made of different spice, isn't it? So anyway, there have been several times in let's say human history, where very significant pauses and openings have occurred. 75,000, 43,000, 12,000, and now. It feels like a long time between drinks, and that's okay. So there is this now. This now is a bit of a longish time, but this now, so what we mean is this. So many of you are feeling a disturbance, an interruption, a frustration, a need, and it's occurring within you and around you. There's a sense of where you have had through most of this existence of you not quite fitting in, you feeling different, yet you feeling such a requirement to support, to nurture, and to heal either self, others, and the planet. Now, if there are no coincidences, then that need, that knowing, it hasn't come from the physical. The physical is how you're experiencing the how of it, but it has come from a purpose. And that purpose, as young Mary shared before, and the question that you asked about the energy of the light shaman. The light shaman is not an earth shaman. The light shaman is of light.
So it's a source shaman.
Yes, young Mary, it is a source. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? A source shaman. Yes. They are energies that particularly with purpose decide to come into human form to support. Now, these energies also support other life forms, you could say, and those forms are varied. And you will quite perfectly take the shape and the space of that particular form. But in this moment, you've come into here. Some of you have done it many times and find the transition easy. Some of you have only done it a few times and find it incredibly difficult. Because the freedom that you were is not the freedom that you are experiencing now. And that is really frustrating. Because you can feel planets align, you can feel source sending something, you can feel transition occurring. But there's this pesky thing called the physical body that gets in the way of your knowing.
Until it doesn't.
Well, until the two of you are good little friends like this.
Yeah. That's the key, isn't it?
Yes, that is the key. That is why we are sharing now this, primarily because of the extraordinary frustration that humans are banking up on the universal scene. It's like a traffic jam up there. So we need to clear the clutter, shall we say. Yes. So there's that in a nutshell. Little baby one. Does that make sense for you, Jan?
It does make sense. I just wasn't sure if you were complete or pausing in between, so my apologies for the awkward pause. Can everybody recognize this aspect of the light shaman within themselves, or the people that are attuned to it, that's really part of what has been chosen in their experience?
Yes. So, well, isn't that a fascinating question? Yes. So those of you who feel, those of you who know you have a purpose, and that purpose is much, much, much bigger than just being in this physical form or doing your job or even healing the person next to you. It feels something so much more. And one of the things you've experienced, most of all, which really frustrates you, is that I am in some way hindered from creating this. So whether it is because of the family that constructed you in a certain way, and then all you've done is try to battle and pull yourself away from the way they have wanted you to be, because you know something, but they want you to be like this, so we can manipulate you. It's not their fault. That's just them being them. But there's an energy within you that sometimes you feel is struggling to break free of the constraints that you currently exist within.
And I think the way we see, and I experience it this way, and I know in our community when we talk about this, the way people tend to experience it, John, and if people want to pop into the chat, if they can, whether this resonates with them, is that it's that we know we've always had a feeling that we're different, that we haven't quite slotted in and fitted in. And combined with that, there's a knowing and a feeling of a moreness. There's that sense of more of us, more of reality, more of energy that often is kind of tantalizingly, well, it's tangible, but it's also tantalizingly slightly out of reach, or, the fullness of it feels like it's out of reach. I think for me, those knowing that we don't just slot into we're not round pegs in round holes, but feeling that moreness, those two together typically, to me, are the people who can feel their light shaman knowing. Because we never lose that connection.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's always been one of the inspiration and challenges for me as well. And I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate. It's like, I know there's something more, but I don't quite just know how to reach it. It's like that brass ring is just right there, but you just can't quite grasp it. And that anticipation of that can be so frustrating. Until we discover it's like, oh, wait, it's unfolding. And then we can get excited about it instead of thinking that we're doing something wrong. And that's why I was asking the question earlier. Again, if we're not accessing, if our body's not assimilating and all these anticipations that we hope will come to manifest, it's I truly am aware that it's not about not what we're not doing right, but it's really accepting that we're still in the process of assimilating and receiving what it is getting us that next space.
Okay. Oh, now
Please, Dzar, yes.
This sounds juicy.
Yes.
It does.
You see, there's the difficulty. We're still in the process. You see, that pesky old duality. It really is, you are or you're not. And here's the reason why. Yes, thinking tells you, well, I'm still growing, I'm still learning, I'm still in the process of blah, 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 blah. Yes, you are. Based on what you think is, then that's what will happen.
The I'm not there yet.
The I'm not there yet, yes. Oh, this wholeness of me is so far away, and running like a little bunny rabbit to catch up to it. Yes, then energy reflects energy. You get that experience of not quite there yet. You can feel it, but oh, it's so far away. Yes, so that's what you get. Now, how does an energy that is traveled, that can decide to take any form it wishes, and then it's come into human form, doesn't have the complete memory that lets it know where it was, because where's the fun in that? It's all about you learning now, but there's partial memory there, so you sort of remember how big you used to be, but now you're in a contained form. And now you've got to break out. Right. And so the contained form says, well, I know something's there, but I'm not there yet. But something in here is wiggling like a ping pong ball in a bottle, and it's wiggling like this, wanting to break out like this. Now, you see. How is it, and you experienced this just recently with your group, that when there is a combined congruent field and energy, how much opened up? How much did you allow when energy reflected energy and you experienced within that amazing group that you created so much light? Was it a real struggle? Did you really have to try and push it?
No, it was amplified. It was so easeful, yeah.
It was just there, wasn't it? Yes. And then what happens? Well, we go home. We leave that community, we come back to our place, we do our day-to-day, our 9 to 5, our husband, wife, partner, whatever it is you do, take the kids to school. Now, we're back in the shell again. Now, can you stay in meditation for 24 hours a day and contain that light just to make it flow, 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 flow? It's hard work, isn't it?
It is.
Yes. And the reason it's hard work is because our thinking, you see, what we allow and deny. When we are away in the retreats, as you have created and as young Mary and Gary have created and many have created, when you are away in retreats, you are away from all that you think is. You are contained in a field of source. In that field of source, you allow yourself, you open, because energy reflects energy. Here, I am safe.
We give ourselves permission in that state.
There's curiosity. There's a want to explore. There's a want to feel. There's a want to know. And there's a want to allow. Because everyone who comes into this retreat, there's no coincidences who are ever there. They're all there for purpose, and they all know each other. And then you have this. Everyone together, connected at once. And so flow occurs. Now, oh, there's a lot now.
I think just on that, Dzar and John, it's that the moreness that we all feel, as you were saying, Dzar, the trap of that is that we keep thinking we're not there yet.
Yes.
And so we're always looking. So the antidote, if you like, to the moreness, which will always be there because there is always more of us to be experienced and stepped into and enjoyed. The antidote is the isness. Feeling who we are. Who are we already? This is me already. And yes, I know there's more to come and there's more to be experienced and more to be shared. And if I lose sight of what I've already allowed for myself, then I won't get the moreness. So coming back to that, the magic that we already are and that we experience and the synchronicities and the connections and the depth of our meditations, they're all just the clues really that we're allowing more of the moreness in. We're giving ourselves permission to access it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what I was thinking as Dzar was speaking and as you're articulating that as well, let's just, why don't we just go to the opposite? Instead of thinking that we need a little bit more to finally make it pop, how about we just assume that we already popped and that everything that hasn't caught up yet is just going to? What if we just flipped it? Yeah. And really opened it up. So rather than thinking I'm not doing something right, really allowing the momentum of the forward movement to catapult us into the isness rather than the inertia of what it isn't to keep us stuck in a cycle that we don't know how to get out of.
Yeah.
And can it be that simple?
Yeah, I think it can. And I think that's what we see with our community is that the more we accept who we are and we say, and Dzar's often used they've said, you're just catching up to yourselves, young ones.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
energetically, we can shift so fast. We're light. Light is super speedy. Like we shift, and then there's not always, but there can be that time lag for the physical to catch up to us. And whether that's us physically catching up or the physical environment around us to catch up. And I know for me, I'll often feel something really clearly and I think, oh, it's here. And then I look around and go, no, it's not. And it can be 12 months before the physical thing actually comes into my 3D experience.
Yeah.
And the key in that gap is the way we stop it coming to us is we doubt ourselves. We think, oh, no, it's not here yet. Oh, yeah, there is still more. And I haven't done it right, or I've got more to do, or if only I was more enlightened, all the kind of the negative judgmental self-talk that we can get caught up in. That keeps it at bay. The quick things get to us quicker, and this is our aligned manifestation method. Things get to us quicker when we stay in the knowing of who we are, because then there's no doubt in the field. And the doubt is what slows things down. So we allow ourselves to experience things much faster.
Well, and again, one of the things that excited me about bringing you on this time, which it always does, with I say the three of you. I know Dzar, your group. It's but for context for me, it works three. But it's that you were when you spoke of the group field and how we raise each other up into that expansionary energy. You're actually working with a method that combines the light frequencies, it combines sacred symbols, ancient wisdom, and allows the facilitation of holding that container within ourselves, regardless of the environment, in more powerful ways than we otherwise have given ourselves permission to do so. So tell us about this method. I want to dive into that so that everybody can benefit from having an awareness about this and maybe applying some of the wisdom now.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dzar, do you want to start? So I think one of the great symbol is a beautiful place to start, and Dzar will talk about this. But the great symbol is really it's an access point for humanity's enlightenment and for us to step into a clearer knowing of who we are and to be able to radiate that out. And it's a symbol that was shared with humanity originally 75,000 years ago in one of those pivotal times that time frames that Dzar mentioned. So the great symbol is one of the building blocks of the source light therapy. So do you want to give us a feel and a deeper understanding? But as Dzar talks, as people will be knowing and feeling this already, when Dzar communicates, they share words, but really the key of what they're sharing is frequency. And so when you're listening to this, yes, hear the words, but allow yourself at your heart level to drop in and resonate to what we call that frequency conversation, because you'll be picking up a lot more information at that level than your thinking mind is processing. But the thinking mind needs, we need understanding. But if you can share with us the thinking understanding of the great symbols are, but also some of the frequency so we can feel the beauty of it.
And so the energy that you feel that we shared just before, when you're in a group, when you're in an energetic space, a place that resonates, you feel this source field energy around you. The energy of the great symbol is an energy that has been brought, well, it is a universal field. This is a field that is used in many places within your universe to enhance the living of those that are there, to turn on that source field within those who are there to help, to initiate, to create, to build. And many of you that are here are knowing. So let us. The energy of the great symbol, it's quite a curious little energy and a shape. It's like the letter C. It's the best way to describe it. It's on a little bit of an angle. And there's an opening, if you could imagine this as a clock face, between 4 and 5. And that opening has always been to allow life to enter. And what is around the outside of it, and many of you have felt this in your dreams, you understand it as the Great Council, you understand it as many, many names, but what you all know is, and some of you even have these little things of this circle with all these little people all gathered around in a circle on this little plate. It's very much like this, although one of the people are missing because life has to get in somehow. But the energy of the great symbol is where around the outside, all the knowing of your guides, your angels, the realms of creation, the gods, all that you understand that are there to support you and your being are around the energy of the great symbol. We call them the first 5,000. And they are source fields that are there to support all life that is within its field. This field in this moment is this universe. And they are purposeful. They're not there to interfere, they're there to support. And sometimes they come forward to create a difference in that life field so that physically that life field can adapt and become more in and on that planet. And so that has happened a few times within your Earth, where physically the human has shifted so that it can be more adaptive. Now, it's not interfering with, it's allowing a possibility, and then you do what you do with it. But the energy of the great symbol, you see, is known. So those light shamans, when you sit and or are invited in to the center of the great symbol, all of you who have done this so far feel home. And it's what so many of you feel you're lacking in this moment, is that sense of your home, because really you aren't home at the moment. You're in form, you're on purpose, you're doing a job. You haven't left to go home yet.
We're out on assignment.
That's right. It does seem like you're working long hours. We understand. Long service leaves coming up. Now, you see, but the energy of the great symbol has always been there as a revitalization, as a space of recharge. It's like you on a long weekend, shall we say, that you leave the office just for a moment and you go down to the great symbol beach and put your deck chair in the center and just get bathed by all that is. By every field, by every deity, by every angel, by every source field that has ever existed, because they are a part of that 5,000. They are there purposefully for those who are there to change the trajectory, shall we say, of the planet or the life force that they are a part of in this moment. It is your R&R stop. And so many times, you as light shamans, you get so caught up in what you're doing, you forget you. And then you forget you. And here's the difficulty with this. It becomes, the more you forget you, the harder it is to remember you. Because what happens then? Your thinking kicks in. Physical difficulties kick in. Pain kicks in. Separation kicks in. Fear, anger, despair kick in. You're becoming the experience of this living shell that you're in more and more, as opposed to the shaman that you truly are. And that's okay for a little while. It's how you experience. You want to understand what you're living through. And the more the physical starts to take over, the more you forget you. You want both to be together. You can't have one without the other. Because you know what happens when the energy leaves the physical. Come on, move, physical. No, it's just this big jelly roll on the floor. You see, so you need the essence to make this thing work. Oh, now it's up and running around.
So the great symbol then, Dzar, I really saw it when you were describing it. It's when we step into that field and we know how to collaborate with the field, because we can go into the field and feel it. But what's different that you've been sharing more recently is how we actually collaborate within the frequency. What we're doing is where it felt more clearly even then when you described it, we're rejuvenating our energy. And not amplifying is actually not the right word, but there was a real sense of an intensification of clarity of our field, or something that happens in that space. And then the other part of what we do in the source light therapy is we work with clearing and healing the physical, so that when that energy is being, when it's in our physical, the physical is an easier match for it, so that we can express it and we can accept more of it. So it's like rejuvenation on both sides.
What's been your personal experience with this technology, Mary?
Oh, I've opened up to so much more clarity around reading energy than I had before.
She's putting us out of a job.
I don't think it's going to be quite that. But there's much more when I'm reading the energy field. So whenever we do one-on-ones with Dzar, the game I play is that as Dzar's energy is joining us, I'll just tune in and see what I get about the other person, or what might be a theme that's going to come through in the conversation. And in the past, I'd get bits and pieces, and I'd, there was always something there. But what I've noticed since we've been working with this source light therapy approach is that it's really honed and spot on. And even at the time when I make a note of it, I think this seems completely random. I can't imagine why. What's this? One the other day was a tsunami and a volcano that seemed to be bursting up from the person's stomach. And it was a good thing, as it turned out. But as soon as the conversation began and they asked their question, I thought, oh, that's what that is. So my ability to tap into the field and read energy has just changed exponentially. And part of that is the great symbol, and part of it is working with the light therapy to my energy fields. And you kind of commented on this before we came on the call, that our energy fields, and Gaz is the same now, our energy fields are much, much clearer because we're shifting energetically and physically.
I saw that clearly when we were talking before we went live on the call. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And how's it affecting your physical body and the way that you feel and relate to your to the shell that you're walking around in?
I feel I've got much less. I mean, I'm healthy, so there's no. I don't. I'm blessed.
And that's why I'm asking, because it's.
Yeah, we've got people in our community who are working with this, and they have got health issues that are shifting and changing. But I'm blessed that I don't have that. But what I do notice is I just have more energy. And of course, when I have more energy, there's more of me able to show up. I'm more able to step in and live the life that I want to live, do more of the things that I want to do. And I just have, I'm 62. I've got aches and pains. My stem cells have gone on a little holiday. They're not doing very much at the moment. Well, they weren't doing much. So just the kind of the aches and pains and slight stiffnesses, pretty much gone.
Right.
So it's a rejuvenation energetically and physically is what it feels like.
Well, and what it sounds like to me also is that there's a repatterning of thought forms, of a belief system of our physical, energetic, and intuitive body could interpret. And from the calibration of that, again, into that light source, it really, for me, is what I see is that it is collapsing the distortion for the clarity a truth to really emanate more in its purity rather than in the interpretation of the potential purity.
You see, how easy is it for you, well, not you, but somebody, to connect to their field of enlightenment when they're in great pain?
Right.
When they're in anxiety,
So
when the body that they feel is there to support them is falling apart. And then they go, well, it's my fault.
Or they feel powerless because, for all of us, when we've had, issues, we've all sought out alternative ways to rejuvenate the body. We've all done, whether it's Reiki or alternative medicines or all energy stuff, all of us, to try to heal. And while that works often to varying degrees, if it doesn't work to the extent that we want it to, often what it creates is a sense of doubt. It feeds into that old narrative that we kind of referred to before of, oh, I haven't done it right, or I'm not a good enough person for it to work, or blah, blah, all the kind of garbage.
Yeah.
What's so lovely about this approach is it bypasses our thinking. Now, it's still a collaboration, because everything we do with Dzar, we're collaborating with energy, we're collaborating with the physical, we collaborate with the broader field. It's always a collaboration, but it's powerful enough to actually get past the doubts that we have. And therefore the body responds. It's such a clear source light that what it's doing really in a lot of ways is it's opening us to a direct access to source. And what we do through the processes is you're directing that to wherever in the body there's the ache or the pain or the condition.
Okay. There's a few things that I want to make sure that we touch upon tonight. Of course, we have to go through the special offer, because through the workshops and all that's going to be extraordinary. I want to open up to Q&A. So if you guys want to ask your questions, have a question you want to type into the chat box, definitely do that. Let's take advantage of your time here with Manry, Gary, and Dzar. And how do we experience this therapy? How do we experience what you're talking about?
So, one way. So here's a fascinating little thing. And he has it here in this moment. That little funny white thing.
Like a Band-Aid.
We call it a little window. And this is the power. You see, when you begin to understand how this plays out in the physical body. So you are told your physical body starts to decline and go downhill as you age. And then humans accept that. But there are those of you who understand, but frequency and light, they can do something within the physical body. The problem has been before, well, I have to continually Reiki myself or heal myself or send light to myself. And, well, there's a car, I have to go like this in the traffic. And then you yell and scream and you forget the angel within you. Oh, yes, like that, right? Now, the little window is a frequency modulator. It is sending a specific frequency into the physical body that the body understands, and then it can release its life. It can release its source, because the physical body, as healers understand, relates to frequency. When you send frequency, the right one, the body goes, oh, you don't want us to slow down. Okay, we'll turn this on, we'll turn that on, we'll turn this. It's still there. It's just that thinking says, no, you're heading south now, like this.
We reactivate what's there, what's gone dormant.
And so this comes from source. It comes from the realm of red. It comes from creation, how it is created in physical form. But the thing that it does is that it reminds you that you are stimulated by frequency, that your physical body will respond to light. Now, the thing is, you can wear the little window and not even have to think about it. But it will keep talking to your physical body over and over again. Now, as your physical body starts to change, and now you don't have pain, and now you don't have anxiety or despair, and all you've done is put a little window on, and that little window is now you're saying to yourself, because the pain is gone, the fear is gone, this is gone, you're saying to yourself, oh, I'm not as bad as I thought,
Mm.
so maybe I can. Curiosity returns.
Mm.
When the physical body comes into alignment with your knowing, it's always waiting there to play. Then you go, oh, so I can heal myself. I can change myself. I can live a much stronger and better life than I have before, regardless of what my age is. So possibility returns. It's always been there, but you've not been able to experience because of thinking.
Mm. And one of the fun ways we started working with these little windows, as Dzar calls them, when we were on our retreat in Europe with the group this year, was using them on the third eye.
Oh,
And what was so interesting when we were meditating
yes.
doing them was what it allowed was source light to come into the pineal. And we all had the deepest meditations and felt the shift. So it amplifies and shifts the physical, but it's working on so many levels. That's why that's, you know, it's so funny because, you know, Dzar's never, you've never kind of been into a physical producty thing.
No.
But this is, it's like you're all over it, Dzar, because it is pure frequency and it's come from source. You know, it's been developed from source. And so therefore, when we put it on our bodies, it allows that pure essence to come into us. But it also, the thing I love about it is it allows our light to be the activator of the change. So when you put the little Band-Aid on, nothing goes into your body except your own light at a particular frequency. It's, as I said, it's a frequency modulator. And that to me is an extraordinarily empowering awareness to have, that with the right frequency, my body can create a whole biochemical process for healing and rejuvenation.
What's your experience of when you have that little patch on and when you take it off? You take it off. Do you find that you maintain the frequency, or do you feel like there's a loss of a connection in the circuitry?
Good question. Well, I'll say from my physical experience, I don't feel like there's a loss because you put one on every day. So it's a daily practice. So you put it on in the morning, you allow your body to work with that frequency for 12 hours, and then you take it off because you give your body the time to integrate everything that you activated in that 12 hours. And so the 12 hours where I'm not wearing it, I can still feel the energy working, and it feels like it's just doing its thing as I sleep. And then I wake up next morning and I give myself another, you know, pop on another Band-Aid and I feel the activation again. So it's not like, you know, if you think about light therapy, it's not like being in, say, a far infrared sauna where you feel great when you're in there and then you walk out and you go, oh, I kind of can't feel it anymore, because it's being activated internally, and it's at so many levels that we work with this at levels that the other people that can get this access to this product, they don't do it in the way that we do with Dzar. Dzar's brought a whole other level, as you can, you know, as you can imagine. So I know that it's working at so many levels ongoingly. So I don't, it doesn't feel that different actually when it's off, other than my body is then doing what it needs to do.
And I really am grateful for that response, because for me, anything that we lean into as far as technology, as far as something that's there to support what we are, it's not that we become so dependent on it that without that we're less. It's that it's really about the forward momentum and again, the boost to remind us, to keep us in the consciousness and to be in the relational dynamic of what's possible, as that awareness stimulates through the relationship and the co-regulation that happens in that relationship.
Yes, so true. And it's so funny, when we started sharing this with our community, we had someone say to us, oh, well, why do we need it? Like, well, I'll just heal myself. You know, I know who I am. I'm a light shaman. I'll just do it. And we said, yeah, great. And how's that been going for you so far? You know, obviously we've all made changes. We've all resolved physical things in our bodies over the years. And there's a point where, for whatever reason, why not ask for an energetic boost? Why not kind of, it's almost, and the fact that Dzar refers to them as little windows, I love that. It's as though all we're doing is opening the blinds and opening the window to allow more of what's there in. We could keep the windows closed, not put it on, and, you know, feel like I've got to do it all myself, or we could collaborate with something from source that makes it easier. And I'm all about what's the lazy, easy way to do it.
It's not even lazy. It's efficient and it makes sense. I mean, I can drive from New York to Los Angeles and take 5 days, or I can get on the jet and take 5 hours. It's like, which one am I going to choose? It's like, if it's there, I'm going to take the jet.
What's the self-love choice?
Yeah.
Why is it that humans love to make things so difficult?
I laugh
Because there's a sense of self-worth
I've done
and
it.
value in that.
You see all the energy protocols. You see, even you can't Reiki yourself 24 hours a day.
Mhm.
Because you have to sleep at some time, and then you have to go to work and focus on other things. You know, it's just a frequency, it's a sound. You can't have headphones on listening to sound all the time either. But this is just another technology that is only light, that is showing you your own innate ability to resonate with source. If there is nothing more you get from it, the very fact that you put something on that looks like nothing, and you feel it, and then the body goes, oh, what's that sound? Oh, let's turn this on. Let's turn this on in the body. Suddenly, the body, the genes, and all the other things that go to make up this little jelly roll start to turn on because they all resonate with frequency. Just when you hear a song, but you can't play that song over and over and over and over again, because then you want to break something. Yes, but you can put this on over and over again, because you can't hear it, but it's still going boom, 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 boom inside you. You're then going, oh, yes, that's right. Now, here's the thing that is happening with young Mary. Because she is not having now to focus upon the physical, still be aware of it, you know, not about walking in front of a truck or anything like that. Now that she's not having to focus on that, now her energy is aligning. So her auras are aligning, because this is what this does. It aligns the aura in you so you don't have leaks in it. It starts to align the chakras, because they can go in all funny directions, because emotionally, physically, mentally, you're all being pulled, twisted, and tongued. This does this while you're not even doing anything. You connect that with the energy of the great symbol. So when you go in there, suddenly energy reflects energy. You get your boost. You remember what your purpose is here. Suddenly your focus now becomes not so much on, oh, this pain in my foot, or blah, blah, blah. Now it is, I remember, it's like Clark Kent going into the phone box and going blah, 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 like this. So you can put your Leica on and pick some nice colors and then fly off. It sounds simple. And it also sounds like a little bit of science fiction stuff.
But I love that, you know, as you were saying, Dzar, and there are some, there have been some studies done. The product's been around for 20 years, the company that develops it. So it's not something new, lots of clinical studies, patents, blah, blah. But what's been interesting is they have done some aura photos and chakra, been able to look at people's chakras when they're using these little windows. And you
the
can
GDV device,
you can really see how people's energy field and the auric field shifts as we come into alignment. So that, I hadn't kind of put those two together, Dzar, but that makes sense then why, as we collaborate with the little windows and the frequency, that when we then also step into the frequency of the great symbol, we're a clearer match for that frequency, so we can actually access and absorb, is almost the word I'm getting, absorb more of it.
Yes. You absorb more light, because there's more light within you. You see, this is it. Then your body also keeps the light. It doesn't leak the light. That's the problem with humans, and that's why they die. Their light leaks out. Now you want to hang on to that. But as you age, you leak. So that's why we're never been human. Our light's never leaking. So you see, you want to keep it all snuggled up inside. And it's just like being on the retreat, but 24 of your 7 time things, you see. Time, blah. You see, because you're creating this field around you, and energy reflects energy. Now your field is starting to vibrate. Now your aura is starting to talk to source, because you're not depleted like a wizened raisin. You're expanded.
So much opens up from it.
Right.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
And this is what you are. This is who you are. And so many of the beings that you have on your conversations are sharing that with you. But it's really, really, really hard to feel it when you're in difficulty.
Right.
And light is that if all your journeys and your journeying is about being more, well, becoming the more you know you are.
Allowing the more that we know we are.
Yes. Then let's make it easier rather than harder. You don't get points for, as we've shared with you, as you understand, not so young one, that we don't see what you deny. Why would creation see that? Well, that's your job, not ours. We see what you allow. We see your field of wholeness, because that's who we know you to be. And that's how you get to where you're supposed to go. Not through denying you, not through struggle. That's been created by human to make you small and stay stuck where you are.
Beautiful. I want to get into Q&A. We've got some questions coming in and some hand raises, so we'll go there as well. And to clarify this, because I want to be very transparent with everybody on the call. Your enlightenment, the light that you are, is not dependent on this technology.
No.
It's not saying you're not going to get to where you want to be if you don't get this. That is not the case.
No.
But there's a facilitation. There's somewhere that there's support in the consciousness that you want to have a relationship with, and it's available in this particular way as well. And Gary and Mary have been immersed with this technology and have seen tremendous benefits from it. And it's why it's presented to you here as assistance for you, and the clarity and the beautiful circuitry of energy that you know is there, maybe you just can't quite grasp, right? Which we talked about earlier. So it's, again, full transparency, because it's all in your choice and what's there for you. So again, I want to honor that in this container in our community.
We will take you there in the great symbol. We'll take you there in that field. You will feel that magnetism of you as you enter that opening into the energy of that great symbol, because energy reflects energy. That's the source of you.
Beautiful.
There are many ways to get there.
Yes. Right. Amazing. And the special offer is another way to amplify and turn on that energy, which also leads into a deeper discussion of this technology. We'll get into the special offer in a little bit. But I want to take Linda. I want to take your call first before we dive into that. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call. My question is, would you have to continually get a new one to put on every 12 hours?
So yes, so you wear a fresh one every time, because the light in the patch are these little nanocrystal light frequency, a lattice. And so as our body's heat hits it, which is what then activates the particular frequency of light back into our body, the heat of our body degrades it. So you use them for 12 hours, and then you either throw them away, or I always say there's a bit of juice. There's nothing actually in it, but my language is there's a bit of juice in it. And so what a lot of people do is they put them on their pets, and their animals get the benefit from it. We've got some fabulous stories from our community of animals there's no placebo with animals. They don't know that they're meant to be responding when you put a little sticker on their bed or on their ear or whatever. So yeah, you can use, there's a bit left over but normally you would do a fresh one every day because you want to get that fresh, clear, unused frequency from the little window into your body.
Is it like a 0-point energy field window?
Well, there is a vortex as part of it. It creates a little vortex in the technology. Now, so because it's patented, there's not, there's some information that the inventor shares, but we don't have all of that detail. But it definitely, I don't know, Dzar, if you want to speak to the 0-point field as part of it.
Thank you.
The best way to understand it, young one, is to understand how sensitive you are to frequency.
Very.
And that when things are arranged in a certain way, and so there is this energy of you, you are right, and it swirls and it turns around you. And there is that field of you that goes towards the universe and goes into your earth. There are these vortices that are there within your body that work between the upper part and the lower part. You are this swirling, twirling field of source of energy. And all the time, you see, there are things that get in the way that move you off balance. And so your meditation and your retreats and these things, they're all designed, every time you work with energy again, it's all designed to bring this field of you back into synchronicity. And so, yes, it works with so many fields, regardless of the names of them.
Beautiful. Linda, thank you so much for your questions.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's
Thanks.
good to have you
Appreciate
on. A lot of people are asking about these, and again, we've got some other questions coming in also. Carrie Ann wants to know if there's a process to enter the great symbol.
Oh, no.
It's got these great big security gates. You can't get in.
It's like the pearly gates. You say you can't get in. There's all these questions you have to ask. And the third question, if you get it wrong, you go down.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that.
There is a process, and that's what we'll be doing as part of the special offer, is that Dzar will be guiding us through an initiation to access the great symbol, so that people will be able to, whether or not you have the little windows, as we've just been saying, the windows are an amplifier.
Yes.
They won't be part of we'll explain how they work, but they won't be part of the offer because we'd have to ship it to people, and for an online thing that doesn't really work. But what you'll learn is how to access and be initiated and be the great symbol the field there doesn't need to meet you because it knows us. But for us to actually have that meeting and that reunion really is what we'll be learning how to do.
You're going to remember.
Yeah.
And we've used this with young Mary and Gary for such a long time, over many, many retreats that we've done with them. At different phases, at different times when energy really needed to be boosted. And so what we want to share with you, we're going to tickle your toes, you see, like this. And you go, oh, yes, I remember. Then you walk in.
The old that is kuchiku.
Yes.
The kuchiku. That's one of the sacred handshakes before you enter. Yes, the kuchiku.
You want to be happy as you walk in. That's right. No disappointments here. That's right.
Well, why don't we get into the special offer so we can go deeper into how that works, how it leads into the physical technology if someone's interested, that's the next level. But just the support that's available now with the special offer that you put together for us here on Beyond the Ordinary. So everybody click on the blue link that's in the chat box. That'll take you to the Beyond the Ordinary special offer for Dzar, Mary, and Gary. Going into this technology about how you can start receiving the benefits of interacting and having a relationship with those frequencies now. As these classes come online, as you receive some of the preliminary, I'll call it, or some of the support information that you can access the second you purchase. But as y'all click on that, you can also open up a new browser if you prefer that and type in beyondtheordinaryshow.com and let me see what the URL is. Make sure I got it right. Because with the two of you, I always forget. It's beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Mary and Gary 34. And that's, you spell out and. Mary and Gary 34. I wasn't sure if it was going to be Dzar 34, so I want to be sure. So y'all open up the page and Mary, Gary, or Dzar, if you want to guide us through what you're going to guide everybody through when they dive into this offer with you.
Thanks, John. So the package we put together is in two parts, as you've said. So there'll be, and I'll talk about the second part in a minute, where there's immediate access to resources and workshops. But the core of it is a two-part workshop with Dzar, where we will be going through with you how you can, an initiation to connect in with the great symbol, and how you can continue to use that frequency, how you can continue to step into that ancient symbol for expansion and rejuvenation, and always the sharing of that frequency out into the collective field. So those two workshops are on the 9th and the 16th of December, US time, and we put them a reasonable way ahead to give people enough time to, you know, kind of, we know it's a crazy time of year to kind of organize calendars and events. But really what you'll learn very deeply in these sessions is you'll build a relationship with the great symbol that you can start to use in all sorts of ways. So we'll be talking about particularly amplifying our energy and allowing more of our moreness to be felt, and there'll be other aspects to it as well. We'll be talking about, there'll be meditations as part of that you can continue to work with. So any of the audios, these will all be recorded in the videos. You'll be able to keep coming back to the initiation and the meditations that Dzar does live in these sessions. And this is new. We've worked with the great symbol in different ways. We've been working with the little windows with our retreat group, but this is kind of a new coming together of these pieces, especially for the Beyond the Ordinary community, which we're very excited about. And so all of the audio, you'll be able to continue to use the frequency. And we also work with solfeggio frequencies that sit behind a lot of our meditations, because they also help us to work at that frequency level to go even deeper. So it'll be live, very interactive. It's an immersive experience over those two sessions.
Amazing. This is so good. And then we have a Manifest You workshop.
Yeah, so these are then you'll have immediate access to these workshops that we've done previously, and they're key pieces because, as I mentioned before, one of the things that we always work with in our manifestation process is that alignment. If we want to manifest anything, an experience, a sense of self, an external reality, we need to be in alignment with not just the energy of what we want, but with the energy of who we know we are when we are living in that. So we have a manifestation process that we use that is very powerful. And in fact, I realized when we started, when we got access to these little windows, and I thought, oh, they're kind of a bit random. I wonder where did they come from? And then a little while later, it completely hit me that I'd manifested them. They'd been part of what I'd been using in my manifestation process. Again, there was a time lag, but then they appeared and I went, this is how they showed up. So this is really manifesting from a memory and a knowing of your wholeness. You're not filling gaps. You're not doing it from a place of being deserving because you're a good person, you're spiritual, you deserve things to come into your life. No. This is from the wholeness and the worthiness that is already whole and complete. And your manifestation is the way that you get to experience and express that even more. There's that moreness again. It's not getting it, it's actually allowing more of it. So that's an on-demand workshop with processes that you'll get to play with.
Beautiful. And then we go to self-love and true self.
So another one of our previous courses where self-love is absolutely the foundation, as Dzar talks about, to everything that we create with them. And if we don't love ourselves enough, we won't allow ourselves to create and experience what it is that we know we want. So the reason we deny ourselves is because we don't have this deep well of self-love embrace who we truly are, that will that we are here and feel called to live. So this course is really about how you create a foundation for self-love, a really powerful, simple self-love practice that we've had people in our community say, I always go, this is my day-to-day. And, you know, from really extreme and intense emotional challenges, from, you know, betrayal in marriages, to family challenges, to business. If people start to use this self-love process, what they find is they have this foundation where they can stay in their knowing of who they truly are and deal with what's happening from a place of their own wholeness and their sovereignty, really, of them as light shamans and as beings of light.
Amazing. How long are these the self-guided, the manifest you, the self-love and true self online video courses?
A very good question, John. I reckon they're possibly somewhere around an hour, 90 minutes each, broken. Some of them are broken into smaller bits.
Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Just good to know. And then we go into energy alignment tools. Oh, I'm curious about that.
So these are my favorites. So I call these my shift and lift tools.
Nice.
So they're your back pocket. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you can use these tools that I love, that I've created, to shift your energy, to come back into your knowing of self, to come back into your light, to back into that centered place of an exhale, without having to stop and meditate, without having to listen to a chant or whatever. This is you embodying and living as your light on the go. So they're really quick ways to, in the moment, do it without anybody knowing. They don't need to know you're doing woo-woo spiritual energy work. It'll look quite normal, but you'll be working at a whole other level. So I use these all the time, as when life throws you a curveball, this is what you want to have in your back pocket.
Amazing. These are awesome. This is so good. Wait, there's more. I thought we were done. Feeling your true self guided meditation. What does that mean? What does that mean, feeling your true self?
So the true self is who we truly are. It's that essence of us. It is our light shaman essence, really. And we work with the frequencies Dzar's given us, which is the saffron heart. That's why we're the saffron heart frequency. And the saffron heart is our enlightenment. It's that light of us that is always glowing. And this is a meditation just to help you drop into feeling that even more. So this will be a meditation that once you've had the initiation in the great symbol, it might be something you choose to play with. Go into the great symbol, listen to this meditation as another way to do it. So again, it's just an opening and an expansion of our energy field, combined with, or starting with, a recognition and an acceptance and a remembering of the light that we are.
This is great. And again, it's activating that environment in you, and you get into a co-resonance field with that, and eventually you maintain it.
Yes.
And of course, then there's like, and then eventually there's like, and so it's the climb up the hill isn't as tiring. And once we're up the hill, we're not really going back down unless we really choose to. Always choice. So this is $197, y'all. You get all this, the 2 live workshops. This is awesome. This is fantastic. There's a 2 payment option on this as well. Mary, when you're in the live workshops, or is there a Q&A section in that as well, as people have questions?
Yeah. So our live workshops are always really interactive with the people. So people will be able to ask questions. They'll share their experiences. They'll say, well, actually, I didn't feel that, or that felt like this. Well, how did that work? So very much interactive and constant. Well, so, you know, when we're in a workshop, people will be asking things, but what's so interesting is I have no idea really what these workshops are going to look like, because until we all gather and Dzar feels the frequency of the group, that's what's going to determine the detail of how it unfolds. So yeah, they're very interactive and customized really to whoever is drawn to be there, either live or in the recordings, because we know we've got a European community. Times rarely work for them. So energetically, even if you're part of the replay, energetically you're in the field, and so it's crafted for your frequency and your expansion.
Beautiful. And some of y'all were asking, and yes, you can purchase it. The offer will be up probably until the last week of December. which means that you'll be listening to replays. You obviously won't participate in the live calls. But as Mary explained, it's still imprinted for you. You're going to receive so much from it on the replays. But join the live calls. It's like how wonderful to be live in community in that way as well, and to be interactive. So if you have the opportunity, I'd highly recommend that. But y'all, again, the link for the special offer is in the chat box. Click on the link. If you're watching this from the replay page, look for the link also in the comments box where the replays are hosted, and you'll be able to find everything there. So this is awesome. Thank you, Gary, Mary, Dzar, for presenting this to us. And we got a lot more questions coming in about it, so I want to get into that. But I want to go to Pina first. Pina, I haven't seen you in forever. Welcome back.
Hi, John. Hi. Good to see you. I just logged on, so I missed a little bit. Yeah, it's good to see you too. Just wanting to join in on the conversation, and maybe if there's a message for me or something.
Do you have a particular question that you want to ask?
My life's changing so fast. I'm just curious about what the next steps would be, if there's anything.
So the next steps for you would be to slow down. And here is why. So many times when we've shared this with many humans before, but humans love to jump. Let's get there quick. Let's get to the next piece. Because, oh, my goodness, I've suffered enough. I just want to get to enlightenment, and then I don't have to be here anymore. All those fun things. We're not suggesting that's you. And life does happen very fast. Now, if energy reflects energy, what is missed? You see, the whole energy of you has always been very purposeful. But so much is happening so quickly that it's difficult to be focused. And so in order to slow down and to realize the changes that are occurring, are they actually useful for you in this moment or not? Because so many times, so much can occur, because it's a little bit like this tumbleweed that has gathered so much while you're been recalibrating you, and now it's caught up to you and it's all exploding in your face, shall we say, and you don't know what to do, where to go, how to control it. It is a time just to soften, to slow, and to pick. Yes, this is good. I'm not sure about that. I might use that later. Does this make sense, young?
I think so. I think so.
And as always, you don't have to agree with anything, but just be curious, because it's your curiosity that is going to support you in these fast times. So simply just don't accept everything and allow yourself to take a breath.
And Pierina, the image I saw as you were asking your question was a blue flower, a forget-me-not flower. So I don't get a feeling it's about forget me not somebody else. There's something for you about a remembering and not forgetting something about you as part of this. And maybe that's in that busyness of not losing sight of all that you already are, so that you can build further on that.
Because there was so much in the energy of your sigh. You're tired.
Where is it, Dzar? Like, what's the... And I don't know quite how to ask this question, but where is the marker between feeling so much that's happening right now and so much that we're feeling, there's like there's the magnetic pull that's calling us forward. We'll just call it that. Where's where do we step into that, yet not lose ourselves in the presence, thinking that we have to get something else to be who we have to be?
Perfect, beautiful awareness. It is something we have shared a little while ago, and we all understand, you as beings understand the quickening. Well, you see, the problem with the quickening is that it's so quick. There's so much that is occurring, then there's so much pressure on you because there's so much you want to heal. There's so many you want to heal. There's so many you want to share with, blah, 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 blah. It's too fast.
And it comes with a lot of pressure
It
because
comes
of
with
the
pressure.
heart of us when we feel that frequency.
Energy beings in this moment, you see, here's a difficulty. Because the universe understands wholeness, it sends whole energy down. And you as humans and you as light shamans that are in part form, part this, part that, part energy, part human, you're feeling this rush of wholeness, but you can't accept it all. You can't understand it all. And because this wholeness comes in, with it comes a sense of urgency because it's so big. And there's all this awareness now. Oh boy, I've left my run a little bit late. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. There's a boost of energy, but there's also a draining of energy because the frequency of you can't align with what's coming in. And it's where, and it's why the energy of this great symbol, where you enter and basically sit on the deck chair in the center on the sand and let energy just nurture you for a while because you need to breathe. The slowing is what is required in this moment, because it's only when you slow that you can discern what energy is for you. You're feeling everything at the moment. It's like being in a lolly shop, but you only want the sherbet. But look at all the other things. Oh, I'll try this, I'll try this. And then you have a tummy ache and you only went in for a sherbet. You say, no, it's a slowing. It's not about everything. It's about one thing. Energy reflects energy. It'll find you, but it has to send you everything in this moment. It's just a big wind that's occurring, shall we say.
So then the more we collaborate with the great symbol frequency, the more clarity we'll have to discern how we use our energy, how we direct
it is discernment.
Our light.
It is discernment. It is a slowing of you, not a quickening of you. Because you see, there needed to be a push in the beginning between 12,000 and now. There needed to be, come on, you lot, a little push.
Is there a cattle prod involved?
We sharpened the end a little bit, but now you see there's a softening. We can't slow the energy because it's all been sitting there waiting on the returns desk, and it's all just, well, now it's too full, so it has to go. It's going out the door. It's Black Friday sale. No, all energy must go. You see, it's out the door.
So
We don't want it.
I'm curious. Have we gone through such a transition, and again, in the light quotient that we carry and the speed in which we carry it, that sometimes it can feel like the wheels on the train that go so fast, that finally that they go so fast that they slow down.
Aren't you beautiful? Understand the awareness that you have just shared. That is exactly what is. And the thing is that, yes, after speed, the awareness is slow. It is the other side of the duality. Many of you shamans have come to this realization of how fast you have all been traveling for so long. You have had to. But now is this space of the breathing out. Now is the space of where discerning the source that you will use. It is not about gathering more. It is about slowing. It is about realizing now how this source of me I can focus on one point.
And that will allow more flow rather than us forcing and pushing. We'll move from the force energy and that the need to a flow of allowing, because we'll just be clear in the energy field. Our energy field will be aligned with it. And so it will be, well, in some ways there will be a quickening with energy, but it won't feel quick because we'll be in this gentle flow, but we'll be making more progress to who we are, to creating the changes we want more easily.
Yeah, I get the visuals. If any of y'all has seen the Flash movies, where he's just moving hyper speed, but then he's moving so fast that he can see everything in slow motion. And so from that slow motion, he's able to pick things that he wants to from the field. And I really believe that that's what we're doing. And we're going so fast that everything else in the physical world slows down, in our capacity to manifest or to create, because we're plucking the strings in ways that we can be more discerning about what that string is in our creation. You know, what color in the palette are we choosing, more specifically? And I really believe I have a very strong inclination to theorize that that is what we're doing in with our energetic field and our light, and during these great moments.
Yes. That is, again, such an incredible awareness. It's why we shared with you the returns disc, and why everything must go. Because when you're moving so fast, you missed so much until, as you shared, you get to the point where you have to slow. Where time, the construct that you exist within, this thinking energy of you, which is Zoom, is not source. Source is very methodical. Source is very discernible. And so it goes here. This is energy reflecting energy. This will support you on this journey. Not everything in the lolly shop, just this. But there's so much around you, you can't see it because you're moving so fast. The more you slow, the more you focus. As focused energy comes in, the more you expand. You can't expand when your mouth is full of every lolly in the shop, because now it just tastes like a big blah. You just want the chocolate to savor it, to taste all its nuances. You can't do that if you put licorice in and all the other funny little flavors you have. Now it's all just gobbledygook in there.
I love that idea of savoring. You know, when we slow down, we get to savor the journey and savor the experiences and savor the awarenesses of us as we accept more of who we are, as we notice how we're showing up differently in our lives and the ripple that we're creating. We savor that. We're not rushing on to the next thing. We give ourselves the gift of what we've allowed.
But you're not taught that, are you? You're taught to quick, hurry up, get here, do this, school, marry this person, have these babies, blah, 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 whatever it is, quickly, and then, oh, what happened to life?
Well, there's a real lack frequency and a desperation frequency in that, which is, you know,
it's all about the slowing.
not very healing.
No.
Yeah, agreed. So, Mary, so many people have been commenting on how much younger you look. I mentioned the same thing before we got on the call, y'all. So before we went live. So yeah, there's truth to that. If multiple of us are saying it, which is very cool.
For so long, really.
Oh, that's right.
It's all Dzar's fault.
I think these two might have aged me, but anyway. But no, definitely there is a rejuvenation, physical rejuvenation going on. The both, and in funny, you know, it's funny. My hair's got thicker. Gaz's hair is getting darker. The more that we use these rejuvenation technologies of light, the physical changes
because you respond to frequency.
Yeah. We are frequency, so how can we not?
Yes. The body will listen when you vibrate at the right space. That's why slowing is so important.
There's a question that came in about that came in about the package. I'll answer that in a second, and a great analogy, Helma, which I want to share with everybody. And want to get your perspective, Mary and Gary and Dzar, about it as well. But y'all, the link for the special offer, it's in the chat box. Before we end the call here in a few minutes, click on it, at least keep it open. We'll definitely purchase and get in. But if you're contemplating, keep the tab open. And of course, we'll have it on the replay page and in the marketplace. So no worries, you'll be able to find it in multiple places. But again, the special offer is $197. 2 live workshops. You're going to have live Q&A. You've got the support information, the tools that are coming in, the manifestation. This is really just a beautiful, generous offer from Mary, Gary, and Dzar. And I hope you take advantage of it. And of course, we'll run the replay for the rest of the week and through the weekend. So we'll send out a link for that a little bit later as well. And first, Helma's asking if the stickers are part of the workshop. We've answered that, but it'd be great to clarify again.
So to clarify, no, they're not. They won't be part of this workshop because of the practicalities of if people enroll just before the workshop date, trying to ship them, and we know we'll have people from all over the world. So yeah, so in this instance, no, they're not. There'll be more that we'll be offering down the track, where as they have been so far this year with our community, the stickers have become an integral part of how we now work with people. So people will learn more, and we'll be able to share more about them if they're interested, but they won't. If we have people that already have them, yeah, we'll show you how you can use them in that workshop, but they won't be included.
And the workshop is on Zoom. So they're Zoom calls.
Yep.
Perfect, Helma. Thank you for asking that. Helma was sharing that she feels like these frequencies, she says it's like kirtan. Chant a mantra 108 times. It goes faster and faster, and then it slows down, and you feel the vibration in your body. I think that's a beautiful analogy, and it may not work in exactly the same way, but perhaps there's a lot of similarities. And curious what your interpretation of that, Dzar, would be.
And so the purpose of the chant is to prepare the field. That's really what it is. And you speed up and you slow down, and then all you're doing is you're modulating these frequencies within you, because this is you're this wave. You're modulating the frequencies. You get faster, you get slower, and then you stop. And you're still doing this. So the chant is always the purpose. It is basically the car that is taking you to your destination. It is not the destination. It's preparing the field for the frequency for you to begin to resonate, and to ideally to slow down. It is a beautiful awareness that this being has had.
Yeah. And I love the way that you described that also. Thank you so much, Dzar. Fantastic call. So much information here. A lot of excitement about, we'll call it a technology. For the time, I feel like there's a better word for it, but you'll find it for yourselves in your heart and your relationship with it. And again, the special offer is just a wonderful opportunity to dive in with Gary, Mary, and Dzar. So again, the link's in the chat box in that. And with that, Dzar, thank you so much for joining us today. I've missed you. It's been a while since we've been together in this way.
Yes. We have your picture over the universal bar, you see.
the place where everybody knows your name, yes.
Friday night cloud teenies, you see, we meet there. Yes. When fields connect, you see. It's all about sameness, young one. And we have always welcomed you.
Thank you. I have felt that very much so. And I know that you open yourself to community in that way as well. Very welcoming. Again, just creating a cohesive field where we get to just be in that ecstasy, if you will, together, which is wonderful. So thank you. Thank you, Dzar. Thank you, Mary, for being here today. Again, it's wonderful to see you. Thank you, Gary. Welcome back and goodbye.
That's the story of my life.
Thank God for replays.
Like showing up to the party at the end. Oh,
Yeah, what happened? Well, you will. You'll find out.
Amazing.
all right.
Again, it's
See you
wonderful to
later.
see you guys.
Yeah,
Have a wonderful
to see
day.
you too.
Yeah.
Thank you. Lots of love
Thank
to
you
everyone
all.
on the
Big
call.
hugs, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
Lots of
Bye,
love.
everybody. Wonderful to see y'all.
Bye.
Blessings, blessings, blessings. And I look forward to seeing y'all on the next call. Love you guys.
Bye.